What's up, guys? Stock Sniper Mike here to give you guys one full week of trading highlights in the span of 2 minutes. So let's just record this real quick. And this 2-minute drill is gonna be tough because what a week it was. I brought my blackout today because it was a funeral for the banking stocks. Most of you might have heard about this, but if you haven't, the banking stocks are going through big trouble. We have two large banks, Silicon Valley Bank, SIVB is their ticker, and Signature Bank, SBNY is their ticker. Both of them getting taken over by regulators as they shown they aren't going to have enough money for their depositors who deposited money into the bank. Now that's a big problem. The government had to come in and save the day. Biden showed up on Monday and said that they were going to actually bail out these banks. I don't quite agree with that. Means that these banks can be unethical and do whatever they want in the finance world and still get bailed out by the government. I think that's not the right decision, but at the same time, something had to be done, and it had to be done quick. The decision was made, and good thing it happened on Monday morning because it sent the market bouncing. The market actually bounced this week with all the bad news that happened in the banking sector. So with these two banks leading the way that went out of business to start the new week, you now had everybody eyeing down all the other banks, and fear came into all the other banks. We had tons of big dips. Every bank took a huge dip in this week. Not just the regional banks, all the larger banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, all of them took big dips. But with these huge dips came huge opportunity. And that's why it's important for you to be prepared when this stuff happens. We just came out with a YouTube video about the banking sector and all the stocks you want to be eyeing down and to create a watch list when this does happen. So make sure to go check that one out. When there's volatility like this, that means there's opportunity for day traders. And people were able to take advantage of huge bounces. Just to give you some examples, we had Western Alliance, WAL is their ticker, fall from $75 all the way to $7.46. Then it was able to bounce from that $7.46 back to $40. That's 400% plus bounce. We also had First Republic Bank dropping from $120 to $17, and in the next day bouncing from $17 to $49. That's 200% plus bounce in one day. Even the larger banks created bounces like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. They all had 10% bounces in one day, and those slow snail-like moving stocks don't ever bounce 10% in one day. And it's not over. There are still tons of horror stories that are going to be coming from the banking sector, so be ready. Later on in the week, we had First Republic Bank, FRC, show that they were in big trouble. Their stock dropped 70% this week on news that 68% of their depositors are unemployed. People are saying similar to an FTX situation, but FTX had 94% uninsured. These 68% people that were uninsured in FRC, a lot of them feared for their money and went to get their money back from the bank. Once people showed up to the bank to get their money back, this caused a huge problem in First Republic, and that's why the stock dipped like this. The government didn't step in or halt this bank. We actually had larger banks come together to show the strength in the finance world, and we had 5 of the largest banks, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells, Citigroup, and Truist, come in and give First Republic Bank money to save the day. So the government had to save the day for the 2 larger banks. Now we have other large banks saving smaller banks to show the finance world is strong. A lot of craziness happening in the stock market in this last week. And that was just in the banking sector. We also had CPI news that came out that judges inflation, and it came out as expected. We thought 6% CPI inflation was going to be there, and that's exactly the news that came out. The government also had to be busy not only in the banking industry, but in the pharmaceutical industry. They are going after Rite Aid after Rite Aid mishandled their prescription. Opioid use is at an all-time high in America, and now we can see this is part of the reasons why. Not tight at all, Rite Aid. And with the government coming after it, The stock price fell, and it's all the way back down to new 52-week lows in the $2 range. Who knows how far they'll dip, but definitely want to keep an eye on them for a possible dip buy opportunity. Now, done with all the bad news, let's get some cowbell, and let's bring some good news this week. The snipers are actually doing pretty well on the first Green Day momentum shift play. We've been playing it the past 3 weeks, and we've been able to go 10 for 13, over $3,500 on this play. We'll be coming out the video very shortly on this play. Also, larger shipping stock, FedEx, came out with earnings and gapped up 10%. That's really good news, showing strength in the economy and the shipping world. So even though we had all the bad news from the banking sector, you can't forget that there are other companies out there still doing great, and this banking news is not going to drag down all larger stocks. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Even though we talked mainly about bad news, the overall market was actually able to bounce this week. It created 4 straight green days, only having 1 red day to close out the week on Friday. Alright, that was way over 2 minutes. My bad. There was just a lot of news this week. And remember, with the news brings volatility, and with the volatility brings opportunity. So be ready to take advantage of plays next week. We'll see you back here then. Peace.